Fighting the undead, a topic that has been explored in every possible way. Now as a roguelike reverse bullet hell game, with a dash of Tetris-style inventory management. Looking at the screenshots, I wasn't thrilled with what I saw and had a moment of hesitation. However, the price and the fact that I like this genre made me want to check out this game, and I'm glad I did, because after launching the game, everything came together beautifully and gave me a lot of fun. I am Uncle Bob and I invite you to watch my review. Today I start with the graphics. Before I above it, I looked at the game's profile on Steam and something about the visual didn't sit right with me. Looking at the screen, I felt like my eyes were being assaulted by a mess. The graphics in the screenshot seems very unclear to me, due to the overlapping enemy models. It looked like a mess of textures with random colors. But I thought, well, the game is cheap, I like zombies, it's a roguelike, so I buy it and see. After tuning on, it immediately grabbed me and I hooked on the fun. And the graphics? Everything is fine with them. While playing, I didn't even pay attention to the cluster of zombies, and what's more, it didn't bother me at all. I don't know why, but from the pictures I got the impressions that it looked like so-so. But in motion, everything is clear and pleasant to look at. Okay, what about the gameplay? We start with a character in a camp, and for now, there's nothing here except a bus that will take us to the city. We choose one of 3 starting points, which differ in map size and number of items that can be found. After arriving, we set off in search of gasoline cans, fending off zombies with whatever we can find. We search trash cans and cars, where we find various items that help us survive the endless zombie attack. To leave the map, we have to collect a certain amount of fuel. The main focus of the game is building your arsenal from found junk. These include roller skates, fireworks, batteries and other random items. Each item affects the weapon or character movement in some way. With limited space in your backpack, you have to arrange everything so that you get as many additional upgrades as possible, such as setting fire, penetrating a zombie and hitting the next one with a projectile, or causing a small explosion upon impact. It's addictive and makes you want to find the next item to improve or add something interesting to your equipment and further boost your extermination effectiveness. All items can be upgraded and it's very easy to do so. Just combine 2 identical finds and you're done. On the map you also find nuts and bolts, which are used to repair items. And no, our equipment doesn't break, but the things we find in trash cans and cars are damaged and need to be repaired before they can be used. This doesn't apply to items received for reaching a level up. These can be immediately dragged into your backpack. Okay, we've collected fuel and are continuing our journey by bus, choosing another map we want to go to, and everything starts all over again, except for our backpack of course. We still have the items we've acquired, and we'll keep them until we die or complete all the maps. The action mainly takes place in 3 areas: the city, the suburbs, and the fields. Additionally, we sometimes visit the sewers, but fortunately only briefly. The maps are randomly generated, which is a big plus. We won't get to the point where we remember every trash can and garden, and then fly around from memory to find stashes. However, there is another side to the coin. The maps are always set in the 3 environments I mentioned: the city, then we move to the suburbs, and we end up in the fields. This leads to a slight monotony. Despite the random arrangement of objects on the map, we still see the same thing. The same bridges, the same buildings in the same architectural style. I don't know what the developer's intention is regarding this element. Whether they plan to add other landscapes such as dense forests, trails, mountain passes, or a different type of city. Is this the final shape and nothing will change in this area? I tried to find information on the subject, but to no avail. Personally, I think we won't see any new maps, which is a shame. When choosing the next stages, we can intentionally go to a map with an additional task or skip it. Thanks to them, we can unlock a new character or find specific items, but on the other hand, our opponents will be stronger. Speaking of opponents, who attacks us? We have regular zombies, armored ones, and ones that charge at us. There are also ones with jetpacks, which can fly up to us and leave a stain that slow down our movements. And the last type are big, inflated fat guys who spit acid. It's nothing to write home about. But then again, what can you expect? The nicest surprise for me was the one with the jetpack. Quite an interesting combination of zombies and technology. I haven't mentioned what we shoot with yet, but here too, it's standard. Pistols, shotguns, rifles, handguns. The bigger problem is the balance of these weapons. I found it easiest to play with the two knives. Opponents were literally melting like butter. On the other hand, I found it most difficult to get the hang of sniper rifle and shotguns, and to make it to the last level with them. Oh, it's hard. This significantly limits the rational choice of weapons for comfortable gameplay. The situation is somewhat saved by the option to create your own weapons, although create is a bit of exaggeration. After finding a few specific items, you can combine them into one powerful and unique weapon. Rocket launcher, plasma sword, or Gatling gun. These work well and are fun to use to rip apart the undead. At the start we have one character available, and we unlock more after completing the relevant tasks. But is it worth it? Of course it is. Each character has different starting equipment, and some also have their own unique item that cannot be obtained during exploration. After completing all the maps or dying, we return to our camp. Depending on how we did, we get the respective amount of apples, which we use to improve our stats. Typical improvements include increased damage, movement speed and critical damage. But apart from apples, there are also tapes, which allow us to unlock new items to obtain. The possibility of meeting a merchant on our way, or a Xerox point, where we can copy an item upon payment. Music accompanies us during the game. I was very surprised by it, as I didn't expect some of the songs in a game of this type, and yet it fits perfectly. It is light, pleasant and lively. At times, in addition to my mouse and fingers on the keyboard, my foot was also tapping under the desk to the rhythm of the music. It's time for the Steam Deck Corner. Information for owners of this device about whether the game works and if there are any problems. In this case, there aren't any. The game runs flawlessly, you don't need to fiddle with the graphics settings to make it work. The text is easy to read and the controls are good. I haven't encountered any problems. And what's more, I enjoyed playing on the Steam Deck more than on the PC. This game doesn't drain the battery, so we can play much longer than with more advanced titles. On Steam Deck, the game is good and runs smoothly. Overall, it's also okay. I had a lot of fun playing this title, and in my personal ranking, it's one of the best games of its genre. On the other hand, I thought long and hard about what rating to give it, 4 or maybe 3. My final verdict? I decided to give it a 4. Why this decision and not another? Deadly Days Roadtrip still doesn't have everything. In each window we see information that a new character, new items and new skills will appear in the future. The maps could become repetitive despite their randomness. And finally, there is the issue of weapon balance. The game is still in early access, but despite its shortcomings and flaws, it is a good game. What we have in this title allows us for many hours of fun. The added system of arranging items in your backpack not only gives you the opportunity to experiment with character building, but also increases the overall interest in the game, setting it apart from the sea of vampire survival clones. We have several different characters with their unique characteristics and even weapons, great music and the factor of yet another map, the desire to try a different approach. I was pleasantly surprised by this game, and I am glad I bought it. It will get even more interesting once the developers finish it. I am most looking forward to more variety in the items for weapon upgrades, and perhaps the current imbalance issues will be resolved. But would I give it a 5 in the future after it leaves early access? No, I don't expect a revolution. At the moment it's a good game, and further improvements will only confirm that it deserves a 4. If you like roguelike bullet hell games, give it a try. You should like it, and if you don't, let me know why. That's all for today. Be well.